Hi, I'm Rick Itzkowicz, co-founder of Productive Learning and Leisure and creator of Quote Actions. In this segment of How to Use the LinkedIn series, I will be covering the topic of recommendations. As with all of our topic programs, we begin on your LinkedIn homepage. If you're not there, just click on the upper left-hand corner and just click on Home, and you'll get to the same place that the screencast is starting from. So first, I'm going to give you an overview on asking for and giving recommendations. Just like third-party testimonials enhance your credibility in your chapter, good recommendations will do the same for you online. And just like what we ask that you do in the BNI meetings and in the BNI events is to bring the giver's gain mentality, you got to bring the same thing to the process of asking and giving recommendations. That is, start the process by giving recommendations before you ask for them. So start with the people in your chapter that you feel great about recommending, and then proceed to write recommendations for them. Some of them will reciprocate. So in this case, I am going to start with someone in my chapter. Her name is Bryn. And the way you start is you go to the search people box on the right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner. You start typing, and if she's already in your network, she's going to appear. In this case, I'll do a search, and there's Bryn. You click on her, you find her, and then you will see here on the right column, it says recommend this person. So you click on the recommend, and then you have another window that opens up, and you have 4 choices to recommend the person you're going to be recommending as a colleague, a service provider, business partner, and or student. And I have found that some of these categories, sometimes you're not quite sure, so you may play a little bit with this. In this case, I'm going to recommend Bryn as a business partner. I have not yet hired Bryn, so I cannot do that, and she doesn't fit on the others. So as the business partner, I'm going to go, highlight that, and then the basis for the recommendation, they're going to give you a choice, and it says you work with Bryn, but we're at different companies, and Bryn was a client of yours. So in my case, Bryn has been a client of mine, so I would do that. The title at the time would be the co-founder of Productive Learning and Leisure, and Bryn's title is going to be her position, which is at the NGT group right now. Then what you will do is you will write a brief recommendation. I have already done this, and I will just copy and paste it here for the sake of expediency. And what you would do is you would just write a chapter, and then once you have that, you can actually view or edit the recommendation here, which if you click on that, you'll be able to also personalize a message to the person you're sending to. I would recommend that what you do is that you write something in there as opposed to using LinkedIn's default. Again, I have done this ahead of time as to not take a lot of time. So what I'll do is I'll just copy, paste it, and it says basically I would like me to, if you would like me to add the lead or change anything I've written, please let me know, and I will gladly do so. Warmest regards, Rick. And I'll type her name and personalize this. And then what I'll do is I'll send the recommendation. All right. Once you send the recommendation, you will have a window that says your recommendation has been created. And that's all you have to do to send that recommendation. Now, let me show you what Bryn is going to see in her email, which is something that it's similar to this with one that I got. In my case, there's a lady named Linda Russell who has recommended me on LinkedIn, and that's a message you would get on your email. For Bryn, it would say Rick Itzkowicz has recommended you on LinkedIn, and it will say what the recommendation is, and then at the bottom, what happens is there is the option to display the person's recommendation on your profile. So I'm going to click on that, and I now have the recommendation here. I can also request a replacement. In other words, if what they said for me was not exactly what I wanted, I certainly can do that. So you would click on request replacement, and then what you would do is you would actually get a window that will ask you, okay, Here it is. Thank you for your endorsement. Revise it. Type whatever you would like to do it, and just ask them to revise it if you'd like to do that, and then you would send them the message. So that's how you will either post the recommendation or request an endorsement. Another thing that you can do is when somebody has done a recommendation for you, you can actually return the favor right then and there. And let's say that Linda has recommended me. The way that you would do that is you would click on her name to get to her profile. And once again, once you get to the profile, there's the recommend this person tab. You would click on that and proceed to write the recommendation. All right. Next, what I will do is cover how to ask for recommendations from your referral partners in your chapter. So what we'll do is we are going to go on the left-hand column, right, middle of the column. There's a tab that says recommendations. Click on that, and what you see here is you have three tabs. You have the receive recommendations, the send recommendations, and request recommendations. In here, the receive recommendations, you can see all the different ones that you have gotten if you have more than one position. Like for instance, I have 11 as the VP of marketing, 39 as a co-founder, and a few others where I have no more. I have 3 here and none of the others. I am going to ask my chapter members to recommend me as a BNI chapter member. So what you would do is you would go to the Request Recommendations tab. You can choose the position you're going to do. In this case, it's going to be the Del Mar chapter in BNI. In here is the connections. When you click on this little symbol here, it will open up all your contacts. I'm just going to pick 2, but what you can do is you can pick all the members in your chapter that are members of LinkedIn and asking for a recommendation. In this case, I'm going to click on Mike, who is in my group, and then I have Cal Campbell, who's in my group too. Once you have all the people, you click on Finish. And then what you do is, again, you have a create a message, and LinkedIn gives you a default message. And again, I would recommend that you write your own. I will delete this and paste my own. Again, I've written it a little ahead of time, and here it is. I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste that here. All right, and it says one of the best ways to build credibility on LinkedIn is through third-party endorsements. If you feel I have made a contribution to you and or the Del Mar BNI chapter, I would really appreciate it if you would write a short paragraph detailing it. Here's a few areas for you to consider. Referrals I've given, mentoring I've provided, and anything else that comes to mind that might influence others positively to interact with me. Thanks in advance for helping me out. Warmest regards, Rick. And then what I would do is I would just send that. I'm not going to click on send right now because I want to do it for the rest of my chapter once I do it. I just don't want to take the time to do that. One other piece I want to show you here is the send recommendations. You can actually see the recommendations that you've given. In this case, I have 61, and I've received, it's about 50 something. Let's see, it was 11 and 39 is 50, 53. So it's pretty much a one-to-one, and that's usually, oftentimes, again, the giver's game mentality. You give, you receive, but it is not necessary that you give a recommendation or that you expect that everybody that you recommend will recommend you. In fact, there's been some people who have asked me for recommendations, and I have not given them because I don't feel I have anything either specific to say about them, or I just don't feel recommending, because remember, it is my reputation if I do recommend somebody, and it's going to be theirs when they recommend you. So just remember that the purpose of the recommendations are to build credibility for you and your referral partners, and keep that in mind when giving recommendations as well as when you're asking for them. That's it for this segment. This should give you a very good basis and understanding of the recommendation process, and I will be covering more advanced tactics and strategies in this area during a future screencast. Enjoy an extraordinary day.